Hello everyone and welcome to another video, and today's video is a little bit different. It's not really a direct race showcase, however, this is more about me. So if you didn't know, in Gran Turismo I don't actually use a wheel, I actually use a controller. And the reason why is for some reason when I first started playing, obviously I played Gran Turismo a lot earlier, like 3, 4, 5, all on a controller. And when I got Sport, I thought, you know what, let's just make it work with a controller. You don't need to go out and buy some crazy over-the-top wheel. And I did do that, and I got pretty good at the controller up until this day. However, I bought a wheel last year, because they were really cheap. And I realized I was really crap, and I kind of packed it away and called it a day. However, because Gran Turismo 7, there's not really much happening with it at the moment. Like, the updates are kind of dry at the moment. I thought, you know what, I'd pick up my wheel and see how slow I am compared to my controller pace. So, you'll see me here, we're at Fuji right now. Fuji is one of my most favorite tracks to drive on this game. And funny enough, it is the daily race this week. So I set a lap time. It wasn't great, I'm going to be 100% honest. It was a 39.1. And I thought, alright, I'm going to compare myself going into time trial mode and seeing how close I was. And this isn't my first lap doing it, 140.1, so I'm about a second off. Or was it 139.1? Or was it 130? It was a high one, so we'll round it up to 139.2. And for me, the most important part in racing, it trumps everything else, faster than getting fastest laps or fast times. It's being consistent, because last year when I used my wheel, it felt like I was so inconsistent. I couldn't get consistent laps, I was spinning around everywhere. And doing this, I still am spinning around all over the place. But of course I'm not going to be as quick, but the consistency is the main important bit. As this lap, this is the fastest lap I got out of this session. And that ghost is on reset, so resets every sector with a 10th starting ahead. And the first 2 sectors, I'm pretty damn close to the ghost. And as usual with Fuji, it's the last sector that pretty much make or breaks your lap time around Fuji. And it's something I realized pretty quickly, was my throttle control was really bad using a wheel and pedals. And I think that's because I just haven't adjusted to using my legs. Obviously with the controller you're using just the triggers, and that's about it. Because for me with a wheel, with the steering, it's quite alright, because I think I know my racing lines and that. But using my feet to control, I think it's mainly the brakes. For trail braking, I just can't do it as effectively, nowhere near as good. As we cross the line, and it's a 39.8, yeah, so I'm about 6/10 off, yeah, if you round it up, which isn't that bad. But again, it's all about the consistency, and I was actually quite happy with my consistency going through here. As you look on the far right, we're on lap 9, and I'm still either in low 40 or high 39s, which I'd say is pretty alright. And again, here's the thing with the throttle I'm going to really focus on. As we go through here, through the Dunlop hairpin thing, my throttle control is really bad. You can see the ghost instantly take off. And I really wanted to try really pushing it through there, but I started to lose control of the rear, and I pretty much had to lift at that hairpin, causing the ghost to really fly ahead. And you saw that time delta there, I was like 1/10 up, and quickly going up as I put the throttle down. And yeah, it's literally just my throttle control throughout the final sector, which is really hurting me. And you'll see it because I have a couple of 2 sample races after this Fuji time trial, where again, the thing that's really letting me down is my throttle, because I'm just really hesitant and my confidence with it is really low. As we cross the line, that lap time, again, that's pretty much on par with the fastest lap I've got. And I think it should... Okay, no, the transition. Yeah. So we're going to transition to the end of lap 10. And again, I'm trying to push it, but into the wall I go. So that ends the session. And another thing I also realized was the difference between a wheel and a control, which I think I'll get to the end. I'll talk about it at the end of the video. As this is my first race with a wheel around Le Mans, didn't really expect to get a really good launch off the line, and there's some lag in there, so this is really scary time. So everyone's kind of flying about, and I kind of just brake early, and yeah, it becomes one big not crash fest, because we actually all kind of got through it in one piece, which good job us. But we head to the end of the lap, because again, this is more just like a sample thing. Going through the forward chicanes here. Again, I'm accelerating and lifting a lot as we pass the BMW, which is really surprising. It's like, because I don't know, when the wheel gives me some info, I don't really know how to read it. I think that's another problem with me. I don't know what the wheel is telling me, so I don't know how to act accordingly, basically. And that's another problem with me, I think. As we should fast forward again in the race. Come on. I'm waiting for the timeline to move forward. Yep, so here we are going into Indianapolis, and one thing I realized at the wheel as well, coming into Indianapolis, anything with elevation, oh god, the wheel no likey. It doesn't like elevation. And you'll see me going through, is it Arnage? I think it is. Oh my god, my corner names are a bit iffy. I'm short shifting up to second, which you don't really need to do with the NSX, because the NSX is quite stable. Because again, I'm really low confident with the throttle. But as we go through the first chicane again, I'm upshifting a lot earlier through the gears for more stability. But this is an NSX, you don't need to do that normally. But again, I'm just really careful with the throttle inputs, because I don't know how the car or how the wheel's going to react. But as we go to lap 3, we're going to have a really good battle, which I didn't think I'd be capable of doing it, because again, this is my first race after a year with a wheel, and I'm really crap with it. I didn't think I'd be going through a side-by-side battle cleanly. I thought I'd just absolutely nerf this Aston Martin off the road, because I'm crap with a wheel. But as we go down towards the Ford chicanes here, I always get a good run through here, and we're side by side with the Aston. You usually don't really get a battle through here, but we're going to send it up the inside, and we both keep it quite clean, giving each other room as we turn into the final chicane. We're trying to limit the space he has, but while also giving just enough, and we make it through. And through there, my throttle control, especially through that final launch onto the pit straight, was actually quite good. But as we go to the last lap, this NSX is crap in a straight line, so everyone around me is nearly flying by me. And here we are going through Indianapolis. I get on the throttle really, really slowly there, and that allows everyone to get a good launch on me. And going into Arnage, I turn in, and the guy kind of sent it up the inside quite late. I think it was an alright move on his part. It was probably just on the limit, but I didn't really expect it. So we got a little bit of a tap. But now, going to the Porsche curves, I really need to get past this Ford GT. I don't want to get stuck behind it for a chance to pass that Aston Martin like I did last lap. As we go through the Porsche curves, kind of get it right. Although, at this point, I'm feeling the understeer. That's also something I want to talk about, but again, that's something for at the end of the video. As we go through here, again, I usually get a pretty good launch out of these corners, as we close right to the back of the Aston Martin. Try and pull left, but I don't really have the momentum like I did last lap, kind of, but I push him there, which I think that's why I say I don't have the momentum as he pulls across. But I've pressured him to a mistake, and he cuts the chicanes, so all I need to do is just stay within half a second or a second, and he gets the penalty, and that's pretty much P2 for us. So not bad, starting from the back of the grid, using a wheel which I don't really know how to use properly, isn't that bad. But this is my second race around Bathurst. Yuck. Using the Citroen. I don't know why, but I don't know, funny. Didn't really get a good run out of the cutting, and Bathurst is probably one of my bogey tracks on a wheel, to be honest, because of the elevation changes. And you'll see what I mean as we go down the S's here towards the dipper. The dipper is usually the main place to get it wrong, and it goes wrong for me, as yeah, get on the throttle maybe a little bit too hesitantly. The dipper bad reaction on Dipper sends me into the wall. But then I get absolutely nerfed into the wall by the American behind me, so not great. So, as a first day outing with the wheel, it was painfully average. Very painfully average. Which I think is okay, because you can't really learn everything immediately. Now, I think this is a question which I think I've always wanted to answer. The difference between a controller and a wheel. Some, like, nuances. This final bit's going to be a bit like a rant about this point. With a wheel, I feel like it's a lot easier to sense both understeer and oversteer because of the vibrations, although I still need to get a better read on what the wheel's telling me, but I feel like it's a lot easier to know whether the car is understeering or oversteering. However, it's harder to catch the car when you're experiencing oversteering. But in a controller, it's the inverse. Because I don't use vibration, I really hate it. You don't feel understeer or oversteer at all with a controller, which is really bad. But you can catch it easier. So I think those are the two main points. And another one is because of the wheel, because you can feel whether you're understeering and really cranking more steering lock, your tires wear a lot less on the wheel. And this is a point which has been reiterated to me over the years a lot. And it's that you can really feel the tire wear more on the wheel on the controller. The controller, you have no feel, so your controller on the controller, your wheels or your tires will inevitably wear out a lot quicker. And this was a big problem in the earlier days of GT7, but it's still a really big problem, which, yeah. So those are the pros and cons. Am I going to continue with using the wheel? Maybe. I don't know, you guys tell me. So, yeah, that will be it for today. Not really a race showcase, but more of a me showcase. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.